was a hotel confrontation. It was between Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa. And if you haven't seen it, I already know where your mind jumped to, which was, what happened here? Who pushed who? Who had more buddies with them? How involved was security? No, actually, you know what? It was none of the above. They were both in their masks. They came face to face. They said some nice words that there's a bit of a language barrier there, but Paulo Costa is getting pretty doggone good at English. There was a moment in there where Israel Adesanya extended his hand and kind of patted Paulo on the back, not aggressive at all, like kind of reached out and said something to him. Adesanya then made a joke about himself. It had something to do with how skinny he is, but said it about himself. The reason I'm not giving you better quotes is they were in masks. I never really realized how much I was a lip reader. In fact, I would have told you I don't read lips at all until people started wearing masks and I can never hear what they're saying. And I gotta say, hey, can you repeat that as I lean in a little bit closer? So you were kind of left to guess, but you did not have to guess that it was a friendly exchange. And many people seized on this, media and fans alike, and they didn't like it. There's something called kayfabe. Kayfabe is a professional wrestling term, but it means you live the gimmick at all times. You never break character. If your name is Hulk Hogan, if you call to make a reservation at a restaurant, you make the reservation 7 p.m. table for two, Hulk Hogan. He would never say his real name of Terry Bollea. He would book it as Hulk Hogan, just by example. Whatever you do, but you live the gimmick. And so a lot of people said, well, hey, the veil's down. These two get along just fine. It looks like they're trying to do a little piece of business with us. Well, Walid Ismail, who is the coach and I believe manager of Paulo Costa, said, yeah, you didn't see the whole tape. You saw an excerpt of the tape. It was not overly friendly. They had this brief interaction, but then things went a little bit south. Now, I don't know whether they did or not, but one of my all-time favorite stories, do you guys remember a guy, and he's definitely a political leader, but I believe at one point he was a politician himself, Al Sharpton. And Al Sharpton got in a jam, and he was buying crack, as in the drug, crack, from a guy on the street who, by the way, was setting him up. And I think the guy might have been a cop, but at the very least, the guy was a journalist, and he had the camera and he had the microphone and he was filming the whole thing. So he does the drug deal, broad daylight, with Al Sharpton. And Al Sharpton goes on CNN later that night. Now, it is game over. Whatever position you are in of leadership, you're no longer in it when you're caught buying crack on the street by an informant, right? Wrong. So here's how this happened. Split screen. You got to picture this to enjoy the story. Split screen. Al Sharpton, CNN anchor, interviewing him live. And Al stood there with his head tall, his shoulders back. They played the tape, and the CNN guy says, Al, would you like to explain to us why you were buying crack? And Al says, I'd like for you to explain to the viewer why you're not showing the second tape. If you show the second tape and you tell the rest of the story, it would vindicate me. You're not here to vindicate me. You're here to persecute me. All you have to do is play the second tape and let people see what really happened. Well, the CNN guy's fumbling. He's going, Al, we didn't know there was a second tape. There's a second. Yeah, there's a second tape. There's a second tape that sets up and explains all of this. I was the one looking into him. I was the one looking to clean up my streets, and you do have the second tape, and you didn't show it because you're trying to embarrass me. Play the second tape, Mr. CNN. CNN doesn't know what to do. Guy's bumbling live on the air. He's got somebody in his earpiece. They throw to a commercial break. During the commercial break, they find out there was no second tape. Al Sharpton was buying crack. He was flat busted, but he has now flipped the script on them. CNN to this day has never talked about it again. They never came back to it. They never said we have been duped or we have been had. And the story of Play the Second Tape is a piece of masterful theater done in a masterful way. And as much as I do believe there probably is a second tape, and Walid Ishmael has it, and he's telling the story, and these two did not get along well, there was a 5-second exchange before all hell broke loose, I really don't know. But in the words of the great Al Sharpton, play the second tape.